I am going to jump into my presentation right here. My name is Michael Corselli. I'm the chairman and founder of FLAIA. FLAIA is a 501c6 nonprofit. We've basically built out a platform to do, three things. The first part of it is digital events, which you're all experiencing today. Educational webcasts on alternative investments, and the FLAIA Marketplace, which is a marketplace for alternative investment opportunities where investors are able to go into a deep dive on a specific fund, on a specific investment idea. FLAIA is organized as a 501c6 nonprofit. That's me in the background there, next to my Apple IIc computer. I think this is probably 1983 or 84. I received a message loud and clear from Steve Jobs, and I forced my parents to buy me a computer. And from that computer, I started to do some coding and programming. On the right-hand side, that's me again with my family and the former governor of the state of Florida, his wife. And I'll go into in a minute why that has any significance to my presentation today. But before I do that, I want to reiterate we're in the middle of historic time. I've always thought that the financial crisis was going to be the biggest event that ever played out in my professional career, and that is not the case. I believe that COVID-19 is a much bigger event. It's a greater black swan. It really has the potential, if policymakers, central bankers around the world get it wrong, for us to go into a deeper recession than the Great Depression. With that said, all the panelists, the speakers, the sponsors, the attendees are part of a conversation. This conversation, I believe, is documenting the largest macroeconomic event that's happened in the last 100 years. And even during World War II, because many of you are saying this doesn't compare to a World War II type of event, which I agree, because life is the most precious thing in my value system. But from a financial perspective, I don't think that there's ever been a period of time when the global economy has shut down like it just did over the past 5 months. So future generations are going to be studying this event. We've had a lot of professors from major universities around the country, NYU, University of Texas, MIT, Yale, that have specialties in real estate and finance, reach out to us over the past 5 months. This also happens to be the first pandemic of the digital age, which is why the presentation today is even more important. So again, I spent a lot of time in the financial crisis. I started a macroeconomic hedge fund to bet against the real estate market in 2006. Unlike John Paulson, I had the right expression of that trade early on and did not lose money in 2006 like he did. I just didn't have the same amount of capital. So starting a macroeconomic hedge fund, but not having $1 billion to trade, that was my weakness, which is basically the reason that this platform, which I'm going to demonstrate today, is so impactful. It was created by a fund manager that has expertise in over 14 years of training and practical experience with capital raising, investment due diligence. It was started for the purpose of making a liquid market in illiquid investments, which is direct investments into companies and direct investments into funds. So prior to starting Alexander, I worked for UBS allocating money from family offices to managers. So early in my career, I was in charge of asset allocation and manager due diligence and manager selection, albeit on the UBS Global Wealth Management platform. So I've been on both the buy side as well as the sell side of the equation. And in 2007, we founded FLAIA. And then, as many of you are aware, 2008 came along, financial crisis. Just similar to today, things stopped and people need money. So we started to meet up regularly, a group of managers in Miami, a group of managers in New York, and we started to discuss some ideas to get capital flowing. And the Florida had a pension fund with $185 billion of assets under management, and that pension fund had never allocated to our industry prior to this point. They thought that there were a lot of fees and a lot of reasons why they shouldn't be going into the space. So we organized ourselves, and this is where my first lobbying experience came from. And that's why the picture with the governor is so key and so important, is we sponsored a piece of legislation to change the law that we did not like in the state of Florida and basically free up over $16 billion of capital, additional capital, to go into the alternative investment space. And that's how we started to grow, and that's how we started to attract, world-class managers, world-class investors and service providers, become members of an organization that originally started in Florida, but now it's grown all over the world. And today, during COVID-19, the association's growth has accelerated. And if you've been on previous discussions, you'll see that the numbers have gone up pretty significantly. But the association does have a rich event of bringing people together from all over the world. And we've been doing this for over a decade. We've done over 200 traditional events. We've never canceled one. But we started to go into the digital realm back in 2010. And it was because MIT's investment management company came to me and said, hey, we would like to meet with people in your region that manage funds. And it was their endowment. At the time, I believe it had about $12.5 billion of capital. So we were happy to set up a process with them, working alongside it with them, where we warehoused a lot of track records and due diligence materials, and they would go into our data vault, and they would look at these materials and select who they wanted to meet with. And we did this on a private basis. So the fund never really knew, it was MIT on the other side requesting the meetings until they got into the meetings with them. So today, our members do come from all over the world. I'm very grateful for having each one of them. We have a policy where we're agnostic to size. We don't care about, you have to have $100 million plus in assets under management and a 5-year track record. What we like to focus on is smart people, both on the investor as well as the manager side. And I've sat through at least 20,000 due diligence meetings over the past 20 years. And we pretty quickly are able to figure out, where the outliers are on, the good and bad part of the spectrum, and where average people are. So the demographics of the association, I'm going to go through this really quick. We're agnostic to types of investors. We have high net worth individuals with $100 million. We have also sovereign wealth funds in every piece in between. We have private equity, hedge funds, direct lenders. So an association that in 2007, 2008, 2009 was 100% hedge funds. Today, it's only 3.8% hedge funds. This presentation is a presentation that I go through to discuss what it is we do for our members. We have built a marketplace for alternative investments. We do educational webcasts, and we have digital events, like I mentioned when we started out. And these are some of the reasons why. It facilitates the search. It facilitates getting to learn about a specific strategy. It facilitates the refreshing of where the market is today from the experts that are in the trenches in that specific type of investment niche. And it does it all from the comfort and safety of wherever you are. It doesn't matter if you're in Asia, you're in Europe, you're at your office, you're on the beach. You can tune in and listen to what we are doing. And we figured this out not because of COVID-19. We figured this out because people are busy. People have families. They have responsibilities. They can't get away from those responsibilities to travel to New York or Florida to learn about some investment idea. So we want to deliver really hard-hitting, educational investment ideas to wherever you are on planet Earth. And we want to do it in a very easy and transparent form and fashion. So our platform is an open marketplace. It's not a closed marketplace. Anybody can be on our platform. And that's one of the key differences. A lot of the platforms that are out there today are closed platforms. You have to be selected to be on it. And that's not the case. We're not offering, we're not offering securities. We're offering information. We're offering education. Our platform is mobile friendly. It's based on preferences, what you want. It's not what we want to force on you. We use a ton of data and analytics to deliver you timely ideas and sometimes contrarian ideas. We're not just going to give you the flavor of the day. We're going to make you think about things that, are not popular. Because let's face it, the not popular today becomes popular if there's good fundamentals that are pinning that investment idea. So we offer things, in some of the most beaten up spaces. And I tend to think that these are great ideas because I know that this is going to come back. And when it comes back, it's going to be too late for people to get on board and earn the high teen 20% unlevered returns. All right. So we do curate investment ideas, and we do have a lot of professionals that are helping us to find these ideas. It's liquid, it's illiquid. So we'll do everything from an ETF. We have Nationwide, the insurance company, that's a member of our organization. They have a listed ETF. It's an income ETF called NUSI. But we also have Entrust that has a commercial aviation lending and financing strategy. We have opportunities to invest direct into franchise businesses like Five Guys Burgers and Fries. So the platform does cover liquid and illiquid opportunities. And let me just show you, here's a little screenshot from our marketplace and the educational webcast through Entrust with their Blue Sky Aviation Finance Fund, which I think is an amazing idea right now. They're seeing really, really good returns. A lot of people leaving the space. They're able to buy on the secondary market, and they have a pretty significant amount of capital that they raise. So here's an example of their webcast. It gets put into the marketplace. The marketplace is behind a compliant firewall, and an investor can go in and do due diligence on Blue Sky Aviation. And they can do it from wherever they are, and then decide whether or not they want to meet with John and the team. I think that that's a great value proposition. We're coming back with this series in the fall. It's again, we're documenting one of the most major macroeconomic events in time. It's going to be studied for years to come. They didn't have in 1918 the ability to record what was going on. We do in 2020. This is the first health pandemic that's affected the world since we started doing things digitally. So we're coming back September 10th. If you go to the website, you can register for that particular event. If you want to speak, you can reach out to the FLAIA team. I'm sure you all have our contact information. We're going to do this once a month for 4 months, and those are the dates. Here's examples of upcoming digital educational webcasts that we have. All of these events are happening next week. One's happening in August 18th. So I want to show you this slide because this slide shows you how we're agnostic to types of investors. In here we have, Harvard's endowment. From the endowment side, we have the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. We have the Alaska Permanent Fund. But, we also have, Bill in Louisiana that's worth $100 million, and he manages his own money. All right. So there's a wide spectrum of investors that are part of our global network. So with that said, I'm going to share a different screen. I want to just take you through the actual website really, really quickly and show you some of the stuff that's there that you may not realize is there, some of the functionality and how it can help you. So here's the website. You can sign up for our educational webcasts, or you can actually review educational webcasts that have passed through the front page. Then if you go to the marketplace, you can see, we have a bunch of different opportunities on the marketplace: workforce housing, hard money lending, lease to own single family, senior living, charged off consumer debt, aviation leasing and financing, subordinated securities, Five Guys, Midwest office properties, opportunity zones in hospitality in Puerto Rico. And then you can log in and look at what's inside the data room, which includes the webcasts. So Apex One is a workforce housing strategy. This fund was 8% oversubscribed at $108 million. It's closed now. They're launching fund number 4. That fund will invest alongside fund number 3. It's going to be a distressed workforce housing fund, and we'll have it up here listed as soon as the Apex One team. But you can download presentations, DDQs. You can start to go into details about each one of these particular ideas. You also have the ability to register for the upcoming events. This one's still live today. The September 10th event is up there live right now for Part 6. So go to the website, check that out, and register. And if you want to see what we have for upcoming events, that's all over here. If you didn't like the content today and you want to change that, you can take a survey, right? And you can impact what we're actually discussing. You can suggest speakers. You can suggest people that you want to be part of your community. It's all in here. There's a tremendous amount of time that we put into this. If there's something about what's happened over the last, 10 hours, soon to be 12 hours that you like, please share that with us. If you don't like it, share it with us as well so we can change it. Give us the opportunity to do so. And with that said, I'm coming up on the end of my time today. For those of you that are not members, I encourage you to reach out to us and join. For those of you that are members, I really appreciate that very much.